When it comes to the modern NFL's red-hot passing games, the best wide receivers now get as much attention as the best quarterbacks. Big numbers and big plays are important, but so is confidence and being in control of the ball when it matters most. Last season, a wide receiver absolutely dominated the game. In this video, we'll talk about some of the current best wide receivers. First off, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, a wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams, had one of the best seasons ever for a wide receiver in the NFL in 2022. The 5-year veteran had 145 receptions, 1,947 receiving yards, and 16 touchdowns, which helped the Los Angeles Rams win a Super Bowl. Kupp is honest and modest when he compares his skills to those of his peers. Most people would jump at the chance to show off a resume as impressive as his. Before Matthew Stafford arrived, Kupp was a great route runner with great hands and a red zone mindset. With his torn ACL from 2018 well behind him, Kupp had a historic season in which he made big plays after the catch and spread the field with a stronger-armed quarterback. At 29, he must have got at least a couple more great seasons left in his prime. Up next, Davante Adams. At first glance, the fact that Davante Adams of the Green Bay Packers did so well in his team's 34-17 win over the San Francisco 49ers in 2020 shouldn't come as much of a surprise, since San Francisco came into the game with a weak passing defense. Adams had 10 catches for 173 yards and a touchdown by the end of the game. That's a very good performance by itself. But it was actually the third time that season that Adams caught at least 10 passes and got 150 yards. Do you know how many wide receivers in NFL history have had at least 10 catches and 150 yards in 3 of their team's first 8 games? None. Adams was the first player ever to reach this goal, even though he only played in 6 games that year. Adams falls behind Kupp by only 1 spot after his last year in Green Bay and before his first year in Las Vegas. He loses his connection with Aaron Rodgers, but he gets it back with Derek Carr just in time to help the Raiders pass more effectively under Josh McDaniels. Followed by Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's confidence is boundless and can't be stopped. The Minnesota Vikings wide receiver, who just had his second 1,400-yard season in a row, said he could get to 2,000 yards and thinks he'll be the best pass catcher in the NFL by the end of the season. Yes, better than Las Vegas Raiders receiver Davante Adams, who Jefferson said is number 1 right now, and Los Angeles Rams receiver Cooper Kupp, who led the league in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns in 2021. It's time to do the gritty because Jefferson's first 2 seasons in the league have been so great. He's shown himself to be a very dangerous receiver who is hard to cover from anywhere on the field. Randy Moss did some legendary things in Minnesota when he was young. Jefferson's on the same path as a number 1. Moving on to Ja'Marr Chase. The Cincinnati Bengals got a lot of flack for choosing wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase over offensive tackle Penei Sewell in the 2021 NFL Draft, but no one is mad at them about it anymore. Chase has exploded onto the scene with 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns. Along the way, he's broken records. He's been praised by former NFL receivers all season, but Victor Cruz, who used to play for the Giants, was the most recent one to do so. Cruz was on the Matt Lombardo Show podcast and praised Chase. Chase is the best wide receiver in the league according to Cruz. With all the talented receivers in the NFL and Chase being a rookie, this is a huge compliment. He's only played in 17 NFL games, while some of the other players have been there for 5 or more years. Next, Deebo Samuel. The wide receiver is one of the NFL positions that gets talked about the most. Still, Deebo Samuel's never mentioned when people talk about the best wide receivers in the league. The San Francisco 49ers picked Samuel in the 2nd round of the 2019 NFL Draft. 2021 was his 3rd season in the league. In 2019, he was a rookie and had a great year, which helped the 49ers get to the Super Bowl. Samuel struggled to stay healthy during his 2nd season, so he missed many games. He's got a long way to go before he's a top 10 wide receiver, but he's one of the most interesting young players in the league right now. Samuel, on the other hand, isn't getting any attention. He's a wide receiver who can do everything. Samuel's one of the few wideouts who can do as much as he can. He's lined up in the backfield as a running back, in the slot, on the outside, and even as a tight end for some snaps. He also moves while moving, even changing positions before the snap. That's a whole new level of what it means to be versatile. Not to mention Stefon Diggs. After 5 years as the cocky star of the Vikings WR room, Diggs has become Josh Allen's favorite target because he's a better all-round receiver. He still has speed, which makes him a strong candidate to catch Allen's rocket throws, but he really wins off the line and in his breaks by mastering his routes and keeping his hands in good shape. As he gets closer to 30, he might rely even more on his possession skills, but that's not bad in Buffalo's deep and explosive offense. Not only is Diggs good, but Buffalo's front office has made a smart move after all of his good work. This offseason, the Bills gave Diggs a new deal for 4 years. Let's learn more about A.J. Brown. Many people were surprised when A.J. Brown was traded from the Tennessee Titans to the Philadelphia Eagles on draft night. The receiver moved east after the Eagles gave up their first and third round picks. The Eagles then gave their new star receiver a 4-year, $100 million contract right away. In his 3 years in the league, he's been to the Pro Bowl twice, been nominated for the All-Pro team once, and gotten almost 3,000 receiving yards. He became Ryan Tannehill's most important target very quickly. But does this make him the best receiver in the franchise's history? Even though it's been more than 6 weeks since draft night, the anger in Tennessee doesn't seem to be going away. Brown's claim that he was the best wide receiver in Titans history has made many fans even angrier, and many of them have been quick to call that nonsense. Coming up, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, a wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, has done many great things in the NFL so far. In 6 years, he's been to the Pro Bowl 6 times, been named a first-team All-Pro 3 times, won a Super Bowl, and been named to the NFL's 2010s All-Decade team. Hill is one of the best receivers in the league because of how well he's played. But how do his peers, coaches, and executives see him? Hill had 111 receptions for 1,239 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2021, which was a career high. People have wondered if he'll still be the same player now that he's on the Dolphins, and Tua Tagovailoa will be throwing him the ball instead of Patrick Mahomes. Since he moved to South Florida, Hill has done nothing but back his new quarterback, and it doesn't look like that will change anytime soon. Next, Mike Evans. Mike Evans is single-handedly changing what people expect from big wide receivers everywhere, whether he knows it or not. Evans is a very versatile and well-rounded wide receiver. He's got all of the traditional skills a big receiver in the NFL should have, and he can do many different things. Definitely more than most people give him credit for. He's a master of consistency. In all of his 8 seasons, he's gained at least 1,000 yards. His catch rate isn't as high as others, but he's answered questions about his hands by using his size and speed to make big plays and scores in the red zone as expected. Tom Brady will help him get better in those roles again. Finally, Keenan Allen. Throughout his career, Keenan Allen's been one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. But when Justin Herbert came to town, things started to change. But the league's gotten a lot of good receivers in the last few years, which has pushed the Chargers wide out down the list of the best receivers. Before the 2020 season, Allen was at the top of 7 wide receivers in the league. Now, even though he's almost at the same level, many people rank Allen much lower than he used to be. This time, he's probably not underrated since there are so many great receivers in the league, and Allen was still named to the Pro Bowl last year. And on that note, that's a wrap for this video. Do you think these players are the best wide receivers just by claiming to be? Is it an easy role to play in the NFL? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.